other day, one of my clients asked me a question because they noticed that sort of some of the things that they went through in childhood has started impacting them in adult life. They already have a family and have settled down with kids, but they noticed that some of the way that they engage with their children is impacted by how they were raised. So I decided that this was quite a good topic that probably a lot of people have questions about. So when we're growing up in an environment, we often receive feedback from the outside world. This can be encouraging and nurturing and positive, or it can be quite punitive and sort of breaks down our self-esteem. So I want you to think back of what are the messages that you receive from the outside world. A lot of time, children that struggles with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, they will get feedback from the environment, from teachers often, such as sit still, stop speaking, stop touching that, be quiet, and it's sort of constant negative feedback that they get from the world around us. And this can often shape the way that they view themselves within their environment. It can make them feel like they are constantly in trouble, like they're doing things that are wrong, or that they're not good enough, or maybe that they're not like that, the children. So this does not just apply to kids with ADHD, this applies to all of us. And over time, we start to internalize this voice that we heard from the world around us, and it starts to become our inner critic. So I want you to reflect a little bit of what your inner critic is like. Is it punitive and judgmental? Is it constantly criticizing you on everything that you do in your daily life? Or is it encouraging and compassionate? So an example of this is also when we sort of start having beliefs with the world around us. For example, a lot of my clients have the belief that they're not good enough. This is something that I hear over and over again, where they feel like they don't live up to maybe expectations that their parents had for them, and because they internalize this and this forms part of their inner critic, they don't live up to the expectations they now set for themselves. But often, these expectations are quite unrealistic in and of itself. So, for example, if they are not the life of the party, or they don't get a promotion, or they don't perform the best in their peer group, they might become quite critical of themselves and feel like they're not good enough, which feeds back into that sort of core belief that they have. And it can take away all joy from the things that they do achieve in their life, because they're constantly measuring it up to this very idealistic, extreme example of what they think their life should be, instead of having a level of acceptance and compassion for what they are actually achieving in daily life. So I want you to have a think about that, and just notice when this sort of voice comes up, when you're doing something and this voice starts saying, oh no, if you say something now, everyone's going to think you're a fool, no one really cares about your opinion. All of these very, very judgmental, harsh statements that we often say to ourselves. Just reflect on what that looks like, and I think to move forward from that, having compassion for ourselves and gentleness is really the way to go. So I encourage you to do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. Thank you so much.